What's up? What's going on, buddy? Hold on.
Yeah, I'm here. How you doing?
All right. What's going on, my friend?
Nothing much.
Now, tell us a little about your background, because your name is Idris, but is that name you adopted?
No. My father converted, or I guess converted to Islam before I was
Reverted
born.
means he was born Muslim. So was he born a Muslim?
No, he wasn't born a Muslim. He reverted.
No, that means he's converted, because
Yeah.
reverted means he went back to his religion. So was he born Muslim?
No, he wasn't born Muslim.
So you keep saying reverted.
So he converted.
Yeah. Reverted means you're assuming Islam is true,
Yeah.
because
So,
Islam says everyone's born Muslim. But go ahead. Yes.
yep. So he converted before I was born, and so that's why I have the name that I have.
Hmm.
He changed his name also with doing that.
When he converted, yes. Now,
Yeah.
what was his background ethnically?
Ethnically, he's African American.
I see. Okay, so then he became a Muslim. What about your mother?
I believe my mom converted to Islam out of, wanting to be with my father.
I see. Okay. So then that happened. You were born then into a Muslim home, but your parents converted to Islam. Then what happened? So people understand the context of your questions.
So then there was a split in the relationship because my mom didn't want to, I guess, further follow the religion, and that led to their separation and divorce. And so most of the time, I was living with my mom, who was mostly Christian, and I would visit my dad often as well. And obviously, he's practicing Islam. So from a very young age, um, I would go to church with my mom, and then I'd also go to the mosque with my father. So from a very young age, it's very like confusing where you're being pulled one way and pulled the other, and you want to please both your parents. So
Yep.
you get kind of caught in the middle of
Yeah, I know. We lost you. Are you okay?
yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah, because you cut off at the last part. I was just saying, yep, that's what happens when you are married and you end up in a divorce. It negatively affects and destroys the children, whether you like it or not. And if they don't agree on the religion, it causes confusion. So you'd go to the mosque with your father, but then you'd go to church with your mother.
Correct.
And so what happened during that process? Because how old are you now?
I'm 27 now.
So 27. So throughout those years, going through to the mosque, to the church, where did you land?
I landed more on the Christian side just because I was with my mother most of the time. Um, and then I myself converted to Islam, I would say probably, let me see, it's probably like maybe 3 years ago.
Okay, so
And
you made a conscious choice. So I just want, so I can understand and follow your testimony, because it's the first time. So around 20, at the age of 24, though you were mostly with your mother, you ended up making the conscious decision of becoming a Muslim. So from 24 to 27, for 3 years, you were of your own volition a Muslim.
correct. And then as of, I would say last year, I kind of stepped away from it so that I can discern for myself, and I felt like I made the decision to convert to Islam out of listening to different debates and um, listening to the things that my father says and all these other things, instead of discerning for myself and actually reading through the whole Quran, you know.
So 3 years ago, embrace Islam, but then you decided, let me take a step back last year to re-examine my decision of becoming a Muslim and to see both sides. Now, you said listening to debates. Who introduced you to the debates, and what debates?
I would listen to mostly, well, my father would send me videos every so often, and I'd watch Muhammad Hijab. I'd watch, what's his name? I think it's Zaire, the Indian.
Zakir Naik?
Yeah, Zakir Naik.
Zaire, yeah. All right.
I think Ahmed Didat.
Ahmed Didat too?
Yeah.
Interesting, man. So you watched them, okay, and then what happened?
Hmm. I just felt like logically some things they were saying were making sense.
Hmm.
And so I guess the videos I was watching was mostly people that they were going up against who couldn't really stand on, I guess, stand on a foundation to explain themselves.
Precisely, yes. Yeah, that yeah, a lot of the Christians they interact with are Christians who don't know the scriptures any greater, but that's not just Christians. It's a fact across the board. Most people do not know their own religious tradition. Many of them are coasting, many of them are nominal, right? So it's very rare to find people who really know their religious tradition. So when they find a Christian who doesn't know much about the Bible and then humiliate him or her and post it, that is not a sign Islam is true any more than a Christian does it to a Muslim who doesn't know Islam very well. So I don't take these encounters as indicative of whether a position is true because most people are not qualified to defend their position. You have to get those who are really knowledgeable, in depth in their tradition, and have them duke it out. Well, that's what we try to do. I try to not, in fact, you'll hear me in some of my discussions. Go watch, and I'll say, look, you're not qualified to talk about Islam. Do you really want to talk about it? And then
Hmm.
they'll insist. And I'll say, well, you know what? That's not fair. You don't know much about Islam, and I don't want to teach you about Islam, especially when the Muslims say, see, that's all he does. He takes Muslims who don't know any better. Well, okay, then bring on your champions, but put that aside. So then, when did you start thinking to yourself, I need to pull back and re-examine the claims made by these Muslims and hear the evidence for Christianity? You said a year ago. What caused that?
So I think what caused it ultimately was the relationship that I have with my wife right now.
Oh, you're married. Is she
Um,
a Christian?
yeah, yes.
Wow. So a Christian married a Muslim. What's up, dude?
Yeah.
How long you been married?
2 years.
So she knew you're a Muslim. She married you?
Well, at the time I would like at that time I was loosely, you know, uh, I guess practicing.
In other words, yes, you were going through an emotional roller coaster. You were torn because these are symptoms of a deeper issue. And I'm not trying to be a psychologist.
Yeah,
Your upbringing screwed you up psychologically like it did me. I
yeah,
also am the byproduct of a broken home. My dad wasn't around. My mother was busy getting up in the morning, taking two buses in freezing Chicago to make ends meet. And she was a very tough woman, old fashioned Middle Eastern Assyrian woman who didn't know how to verbalize love. So you from hearing your story, you went through a lot of emotional, psychological scarring because of this divorce and because you love your dad, you love your mom, and you want to see them both happy and make them both happy. But from what I gather, their divorce wasn't very pleasing, was it? That wasn't a, they didn't part as friends. Am I correct?
no. I mean, they're cordial, they're friends, but I would say, they went their own ways.
Yeah. So you and I both, buddy, we live in a broken world. It's an evil world. It's a filthy world. It's a demonic world because Satan wants to destroy lives and then cause us to hate God and blame God for our own sins as well as for what Satan has instigated. But with that said, okay, so you met this young lady, fell in love with her, you got married. Was she a devout Christian when you went out with her, or she was a nominal Christian?
Nominal.
Okay. So what happened after you got married? So you guys got religious, like the religious bug bit you?
Not really so much the religious bug. So what ended up happening was I just keep reading into the Quran, and it talks about how you should only marry Christian and Jewish women, but
Yeah.
then also at the same time, like marrying a Christian woman, I would say would be hard still to this day because it'd be two, like how I saw my parents. It's two different things.
Precisely.
So just with that, that's where I had that struggle where I knew that the woman that I'm with, we have a very good relationship, very healthy, and everything is going good. And I just felt like the love that I have, I didn't want to lose that to religion, because I felt as if, like, if this is what love is and we're very healthy, I don't want to break that up, because I wouldn't think God would want that for me necessarily if I'm in a healthy
Well,
relationship and marriage.
let me explain the Muslim perspective for the people who don't know. Chapter 5, verse 5 of the Quran, Surah Al-Ma'idah, chapter 5, verse 5. Muslim men, not Muslim women. Chapter 5, verse 5 of the Quran. Muslim men are permitted to marry the pious woman of the people of the book. Ahl al-Kitab. People of the book means Jews and Christians. So Muslim man is allowed to marry a Jewish woman or Christian woman who's pious. But a Muslim woman can only marry a Muslim man. And Muslims are allowed to eat the food slaughtered by the people of the book. That's chapter 5, verse 5. So this is what he's talking about. That he could marry a Christian woman. Now, the problem is, from the Christian perspective, a devout Christian who follows the Lord Jesus and his commands can never marry a non-Christian, be he or be she. In other words, whether it's a man or a woman, those who follow Jesus Christ and follow the scriptures, the Bible, are forbidden to marry outside their faith. So neither a woman nor a man can marry someone who's not a Christian. He can, she can't, because she's a professing Christian. That's why I asked, was she a nominal Christian who didn't really follow the Bible?
Yeah, nominal.
Yeah, because if she was a devout Christian, she could not have eyes for you.
Yep.
So she could not have eyes for you. But anyway, she was from a Christian background, but not a practicing Christian. Now that she's married you, then that's it. But the difficulty lie in this. If you had remained a devout Muslim and she ends up becoming devout Christian, out of your moment in which the focus was her and you were her focus, you forgot there are children who are going to be involved, and history would repeat itself.
Mm-hmm.
Just like you said, you didn't want it because you saw what happened with your dad and your mom. You saw how impractical it is for a Muslim man to marry a Christian woman and the damage it does. And I don't want that for myself, which is admirable. But the thing is, this again shows you the impracticality of Islam. When this command was given, chapter 5, verse 5, Muslims were dominant, and Muslims were exhorted by Muhammad to now spread Islam militarily, military expeditions, and subjugate the peoples whose lands they would conquer and take over. Now, Islamically, according to the Muslim sources and history attests, that when Muslims went to Christian lands or Jewish lands, Jews and Christians were given three options. Here's the three options. Either become Muslim, or if you want to remain Jew or Christian, you pay jizya. Jizya is a sum of money that a Jew and Christian must pay as a sign of their degradation, humiliation. That's in Surah Al-Tawbah, chapter 9 of the Quran, verse 29. It's right there. Or they fight, and to the victor goes the spoils. Now, this means this passage was composed in a context in which Muslims are the overlords. They have the power. They are uppermost. They're dominant, which means they can impose their will on their subjects. So in that context, a Christian woman cannot Christianize the children, because in Islam, the children belong to the man. And in Islam, the woman is the property of the man. So in that context, it makes sense for a Muslim man to marry a Christian woman because the children belong to him. He's going to raise them Muslim. But because Muhammad is not a prophet and all of the Quran is not a true God, he didn't foresee the time in which you live. You live in the West. Now you have a Christian woman. You cannot boss her. You cannot subjugate her. You cannot make your children Muslim, and you cannot beat her. But if the Quran is a revelation legislation for all peoples throughout all generations until the end, didn't Allah know how impractical this is for Muslim men to marry Jewish and Christian women when there'd be a time where the courts would be on the favor of the woman over against the man? Right?
Yeah, that's kind of what my thought process was.
Precisely. Now, do you have any children?
No.
May the Lord bless you to have children for the glory of Jesus Christ, and may you give your life to the Lord. But my thing with you is, in America, if it doesn't work out, she's taking you to the cleaners, buddy.
Yeah.
No, I know that. I went through it. I went with a woman pretend to be a Christian. I'm not trying to demonize her, but I don't lie. She committed adultery several times. I tried to stay for the sake of my children. She also was verbally abusive, and physically she had hit me. And then I get accused of being the white beater. How ironic. But anyway.
That's
And
funny you say that. I was privately married too. This is my second marriage. My first one, same thing.
Oh, you went through you had a narcissist, man.
Yeah.
No, because my ex, I'm sorry to say this, and people are going to think I'm being cruel. I'm being honest. She's a narcissist. She has narcissistic personality disorder. I learned about narcissism because of my relationship with her. And she left me with PTSD. And I'm not trying to play victim. May God heal me. God convict her. She repent so I can forgive her. But she has not repented. But the previous woman you were married, was she a Muslim?
No, she was a Christian.
What's up with you and Christians, dude?
I don't know.
But she wasn't a Christian, obviously. She was a Christian by name, because if she abused you, mistreated you, and did what she did, then she was, remember, we have to distinguish between someone who claims to be a Muslim but doesn't practice it, and someone claims to be a Christian but doesn't practice it.
That's what I say. I think more so I was Muslim professing that I was, but I wasn't really doing everything that I was supposed to do.
Yep. And as this brother said, only God can cure narcissism. That is something even narcissists will tell you. Go watch videos by narcissist experts. There is no cure for it. Only God, because it requires a miracle from God, because it's a demonic disease. May God save us from that. Now, we're coming back to you. Now that we got all that in the background, now that we've discussed all that, the real question is, do you really want to be a follower of Christ if the evidence shows that Christianity is true for the right reason, or are you doing it out of selfish motives? Are you doing it because of your marriage? Because God sees the heart. He looks at the motive. So what is your reason of considering Christianity?
Just finding truth, I guess, and finding comfort. I feel like when I was following Islam and I was doing, trying to do my 5 daily prayers, I'd be very hard on myself when I would miss them. And I would see these videos of other Muslim speakers saying, like, if you miss a prayer, you might as well be a kafir. And
yeah, exactly.
So then I started like feeling like I had to be a perfectionist in order to make it in heaven, essentially. Like I had to do these things, and if I didn't, then
brother,
it was just very anxious. I just was very anxious about everything.
Because you never know whether you can attain such a level of devotion that Allah will be pleased with you. Now, the reason I'm saying, A's game 2 needs to get blocked. See, these people like this are dangerous in my comment section. Let me explain to you why. A's Games 2 is one of the people that I loathe, because one of my pet peeves is when people do not hear, do not see, do not read with accurate understanding. They mishear, they missee, they misread, and then they share that lie, that misunderstanding, deceive others. Because if A's Game cannot show me, A's Game 2, where David Wood said he's a narcissist, I'm going to block him from all my social media platforms, because David Wood never said he was a narcissist. He said he was a sociopath. So in A's Game, you got to leave, and I don't want you to come back, because people like you are dangerous, because you're going to lie, because you're too lazy, you're a bum who doesn't listen, and you're going to deceive people into believing things that are not true, and you're dangerous, and you're a tool of Satan. All right? So now this is why Deo is going to get the lot of here, this other bastard. So you see, these guys don't know who I am. They haven't been with me on my YouTube. Welcome to Sam Shamoon. So let's get these guys out of here. They think I'm a Karen. Now, that's what you get, Deo, because you're a bastard too, and you get out of here. All right? So now, anyone else want to complain? Sorry, brother, because this is how I do it. I run a tight ship. I don't have time for bums and idiots who are dangerous to Christianity because they think they're doing God a favor in their laziness and stupidity. I'm sorry. May God have mercy on all of us. Now, coming back to you. Now, you reached out to me because you had some questions. What are the questions that you need addressing?
All right. So I think I wrote some down. I think my first question would be, what do you think, why do you think Prophet Muhammad started preaching
Well, he's not a prophet.
Islam?
Why would I be a prophet?
excuse me, well, let's just say Muhammad. Why would you? What was his intentions of starting a new religion?
It's like asking me, what was the intention of Joseph Smith starting Mormonism? Or what was it the intention of Baha'u'llah and Bab Allah starting Baha'ism? Or all these other isms? I mean, it wasn't just Muhammad. What was the
Hmm.
intention of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad to claim that Allah appeared to him as Master Farag Muhammad, Wallace D. Ford, and he appeared in the likeness of a white man in order to set the black people free from the devil and his spawn, that mad scientist Yaqub, who created the Jews and the white man to persecute the black people? What was the
Hmm.
motive? So when you ask me this question, you're assuming Muhammad is the only person in history that came and claimed to be a prophet to start a religion. In fact, what's ironic, even in Islamic religion, there are traditions attributed to Muhammad where Muhammad said there will be dajjals that come after me, false messiahs, false prophets after me, and he says about 30 of them. So to ask me that question assumes he's the only one in history who's done that. You mean no one else besides Muhammad has claimed to be a prophet? What about Joseph Smith of the Mormons? So what was their motive?
Hmm. I guess I guess what made his message so profound that
What
it has a
profound?
large, like he has like a large following. Like we
No,
have
he
like
didn't. Not according to history, no. In Mecca, he had a small following. He had to flee to Medina, become head of state, then conquer Arabia by the power of military force. Have you read Islamic history? That's not true.
no, that's where I'm trying to find what books I can get
You
into.
read, you read Alfred Guillaume's English translation of the life of Muhammad, Sirah al-Nabawiyah, Ibn Kathir as well, but this one is the oldest extant biography. You can order it from Amazon.com. It's Alfred Guillaume. I'll show it to you on the screen. The Life of Muhammad. It's an English translation of Sirat Rasulullah. Sirat Rasulullah. Or what you can do is you go to the website and the blog. I have written dozens of articles regarding who antagonized who actually started hostilities, who threatened whom. And the Muslim sources say Muhammad started threatening and antagonizing the unbelievers in Mecca, though they begged him. I'm going to show you the sources. They begged him, look, stop mocking us, stop insulting our gods. And it says that as long as he's preaching about Allah, they were listening. When he talked about Allah, how great, they were listening. When he started mocking them, insulting them, and mocking their gods, they go, enough is enough. And they even hesitated to attack him because they had good relations with one of his uncles, Abu Talib. They even went to Abu Talib and begged him, please tell this nephew of yours, stop mocking us and insulting us and our gods. This man has abused us like no one else. We don't want to do any harm. So they went out of their way to try to find a peaceful resolution. Muhammad insisted. These are the Muslim sources. So let me answer your question, and I'm going to show you the book. I'm going to show you on the screen. Let me sit back a little bit, and I'll charge mine. If you study Islamic history, for the first 13 years, Islam did not spread in Mecca. It didn't. They'll tell you that. But then some tribes in Medina, this is according to Islamic history, converted. And they invited Muhammad to come and live and be head of state. But then the Muslim sources say that's when he started sending out contingents, bandits, to rob caravans. That's part of the Islamic tradition. These are Muslim sources. I didn't write it.
Hmm.
Sirat Rasulullah, Ibn Ishaq, Al-Bukhari, Sahih Muslim, Jami Tirmidhi, all their sources teach this. And then on top of that, when Muhammad died, the Muslims went to war with each other. In fact, the Muslim sources say many of the Arab tribes apostatized when Muhammad died, requiring Abu Bakr to spend the 2 years of his caliphate to fight them, kill them, and force them back to Islam. What do you mean Islam spread? It would not have spread without violence and bloodshed. And Muhammad's own companions were killing each other. In point of fact, here's what's amazing. You have the second largest Muslim group called the Shia sect. Second largest Muslim group. Okay. They have their own version of Islamic history. According to their version, Abu Bakr and Umar were evil. Abu Bakr and Umar were not true companions. They were actually shayateen, devils. Abu Bakr and Umar robbed Ali of the caliphate, and Umar had Fatima, her home burned down, and when he broke open the door, she was behind the door, and not only did he break the door and slam her, but it caused her to miscarry a child that she was carrying. They even made a movie about it called The Lady of Heaven. It got such negative reactions that in the UK, there were crowds of Sunni Muslims threatening to riot if they didn't pull down the movie from theaters. Yeah, I'm going to show you the film. I was actually watching it on Amazon Prime. Here, let me show it to you. Amazon Prime. Let me see where I'm at. Yeah, right here. It's on Amazon Prime. Guys, watch it. It's on Amazon Prime. Here. Let me do this first before I do that. Let me do this. Let me get Amazon Prime. Then I'm going to show you the biography. So no, Islam did not spread apart from violence. This is a lie from the pit of hell. They've told you that, they're lying to you. All right? They're actually lying to you. I'm going to show you the movie. The Lady from Heaven. It's a Shia film done by Shia. It caused an uproar. And I went to watch the parts. Boy, do they make Abu Bakr and Umar look evil. And did you know, according to the Shia tradition, which you'll find in the movie, you know who actually killed Muhammad?
Who killed Muhammad?
Say it again.
You said who killed
Muhammad? Yeah, Muhammad died of poisoning. That's even in the Sunni sources.
I don't know who did that.
The Shia will tell you Aisha in cahoots with Hafsa. Aisha poisoned him. Do you understand what I just said?
Yeah.
Aisha poisoned him according to the Muslim sources. Here, I was watching right here. You see? You guys can watch it on Prime for free. There it is right there. The Lady of Heaven right here. This is a Shia production giving you the Shia perspective. And in this film that the Shia produced, Aisha poisoned Muhammad and killed him. Because the Shia narrative is that Aisha and Hafsa, the daughters of Abu Bakr, Aisha, daughter of Abu Bakr, and Hafsa, daughter of Umar, were in cahoots with Abu Bakr and Umar to get rid of Muhammad so that Abu Bakr would take over, and they persecuted Ali. They burned Ali, Fatima's house down, and Umar broke down the door, slamming Fatima, causing her to miscarry. Do you see that? That's here. You guys see the film? The lady is right there. Guys, if you have Prime, go watch it for free. Prime, go watch it for free.
Before they take it down.
Yeah, hold on. I love you, Mommy. I'm live. Bob will always love you. You're my heart from Jesus, you and Zippy. But I need to be with you every day. Come watch me on Rumble. See, this is it. These are my daughters that I don't get to see. All right, now, coming back to the issue. You see it right there, guys? Go watch it for free if you have Prime. Right there. Right here. Here it is. The Lady from Heaven. There it is. So you guys see it? So now, this is the stuff they don't tell you about. This is the stuff they don't share with you, because you either have to trust the Sunni sources, but even the Sunni sources show you that Islam had a bloody origin and Islam spread due to military expedition, or you believe the Shia sources, and the Shia sources show you that from the get-go, from the start, from the beginning, the Muslims were at each other's throat, and it was a violent, bloody cult. Now, let me show you the book to get. You ready? I'm going to show you the book. Now, if there was a PDF version, I would send it to you, but I don't know of any PDF versions. So you go here. This is the book. This is the book that has led many Muslims to leave Islam. Why? Because it's an English translation of the oldest surviving biography on the life of Muhammad, written by a man named Ibn Ishaq around 750 AD, over 100 years after the reported death of Muhammad. Okay? Here it is. Let me show it to you. This book is a nightmare for Muslims. It shows Muhammad, warts and all, right there. Right here. See it, guys? It's right there. That's the book.
Muhammad.
See it?
Yeah, I'm going to have to order that one.
That one, you read it? I'm telling you, when you read it, you're going to be disgusted, you're going to be sick, and you're going to be shocked. Now, let me now give you some of the articles that I've written on this topic. Okay, so you go to answeringislam.info. Answeringislam.info. Here it is. Let me enlarge it. And I've actually written responses to Muslims who tried to refute the arguments because I was quoting their sources. I was quoting their sources. They didn't like it. So what do you want me to do? All right, so you go here, you put antagonism, and I'll get you the article here. Muhammad and the Meccans, who antagonized whom? Muhammad and the Meccans, who antagonized whom? Now I'm going to send you the link to this right here. You go to answeringislam.info. I'm going to send it to you in private chat. For those of you, unlike YouTube, even if I post it, you can't click on it. You would have to copy and paste the link. So here it is. So I hope you guys are following along. You go right here. So that's the main page. So when you go to individual authors, right here, then you click on Sam Shamoun. Here are my articles. Now you put in the word antagonism. Now here won't have it here. So you got to go to the bottom. Go all the way to the bottom, and you're going to find the link to my former index page. Boom. Click. Here it is. Let me enlarge it. And you're going to see the article. I'm going to give you the link. So here it goes. Let me enlarge it one more time so people can see because the screen is small. You put in antagonism. Okay. Muhammad and the Meccans, who antagonized whom? You're going to see Muhammad threatened them. Muhammad harassed them. Muhammad bullied them, and they kept begging him, stop. We don't want any problems. And he left them no choice. And then when he went to Medina, he still didn't leave them alone. He still did not leave them alone because in Medina, he would send Muslim jihadis to attack caravans. So the Meccans would have a caravan full of goods that they would either bring into the city or take out from the city. And then Muhammad would send his robbers to rob them. And it led to a fight at the Battle of Badr. So Muhammad from the get-go was violent, murderous, cutthroat. There it is. And now I'm going to show you one online source. You're going to see it from the Muslim sources. Like here, Siri al-Tabari. There you go. But I'm going to make it easy for you. We're going to go to Al-Tafsir, altafsir.com, Muslim site. We're going to click on the tafsirs right here, altafsir.com. Let me zoom in. Here's where you find the English translations of some renowned Muslim commentators, not Christian, not Jews, like Tafsir al-Jalalain. So I'm going to go here, Asbab al-Nuzul by Al-Wahdi. So I'm going to send it to you in private. Here you go. If you look at your private chat, you're going to see I sent you some links.
I can see it.
All right. Now, for the rest of you, here it is. All right. Here it is. Okay. Now, you go here. You're going to put in chapter 6, verse 108. 6:108. Hear from the horse's mouth. Here you go. So they can't tell you we're lying. Asbab al-Nuzul by Al-Wahdi. This is a verse that tells Muslims, do not make fun of their gods whom they invoke, lest in their ignorance they insult Allah. Here it is. Now, it's chapter 6, verse 1:8, but here they made a mistake. That's okay. Now, let's read the Muslim source. Here. Does it say Asbab al-Nuzul by a Christian apologist? Al-Wahdi.
No.
This is a Muslim source. All right. Revile not those unto whom they pray beside Allah. In other words, don't mock Christians for worshiping Jesus and you insult their belief in Jesus because they're going to insult Allah. And that's exactly what I do. You'll actually hear me. I warn Muslims. I say, Muslims, look, you insult Jesus. You attack the Bible. You insult us. You bully us. I'm going to insult Muhammad, punish Muhammad, and insult your God to give you a taste of your own medicine. So do what your Quran says. It tells you, don't do it. Because why? Because if you do it, lest they wrongfully revile Allah through ignorance. You see the warning, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's telling you, dude, if you make fun of their gods, they're going to end up making fun of Allah and Muhammad. Now, why was this quote-unquote passage revealed? In quotes, because I don't believe it's revelation. Why was it revealed? Here's the answer. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Said Ibn Abbas. Ibn Abbas is Muhammad's first cousin. According to the report of Al-Walabi, they said, watch, O Muhammad, either you stop reviling our idols or we will revile your Lord. So who's starting the hostilities?
Muhammad here.
Because they're begging him, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're begging him, hey, stop attacking our idols. We're going to insult Allah. Now, so what did Allah do? So Allah exalted is He, warned against reviling their idols, lest they wrongfully revile Allah through ignorance. Now watch this. Qatada said, the Muslims, who? The
The
idolaters.
Muslims.
The Muslims used to revile the idols of the unbelievers, and the latter used to react against them. Who's antagonizing whom?
Yeah, here the Muslims are antagonizing the I guess what were they, polytheists?
Yeah, probably, but that's the Muslim sources. That's not Christian. They're admitting this is their history.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know that's a classic symptom of narcissism, right? Muhammad
Yeah.
was a narcissist if you examine his personality. What do narcissists do? They antagonize you, they prick you. When you react, they play the victim, and then they make you look like the villain, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what the Muslims did. They would attack, they would insult, they would ridicule the pagans and their beliefs. Muhammad would do that. When they would then retaliate, they would play the victim. Don't Muslims do that now? Don't Muslims play the victim? Oh, look, Islamophobia. Look, the Christians say that. Well, hold on. You come in social media platforms, you mock Christians, you cuss Christians, you insult Christians, you mock the Bible, you attack the Bible, you make fun of Jesus, though you claim to respect, saying, oh, your God was in diapers. Your God went to the bathroom. Then when we insult Muhammad, insult your God, and stand up to you bullies, then you cry foul, then you play victim, then you try to get us censored. Isn't that what narcissists do? Gaslighting?
Yeah.
All right. Doesn't work, right? Doesn't work because we know about narcissism. So then watch here. The Muslims used to revile the idols and the unbelievers, and the latter used to react against them. Allah, exalted is He, therefore warned the Muslims against being the cause which drives ignorant unbelievers of no knowledge of Allah to revile Allah. So who is causing it? The Muslims. But now notice when this passage was given. Notice how convenient that Allah doesn't tell them from the get-go. Allah doesn't tell them, hey, don't insult their family values or gods. He only does that after it's too late. Once the Muslims started mocking their gods, and then they start saying, then Allah all of a sudden says, oh, stop doing that. Why didn't He stop them from the get-go?
Mm-hmm.
You understand? This religion is a religion that's reactionary. It always seems like Allah comes up with a solution after the fact, a little too late.
Yeah.
Right? I'm giving you the sources here. Now, watch how bad it gets. Said al-Suddi, when Abu Talib, this is Muhammad's uncle, his father's brother, was dying. Here, some of the chiefs of the Quraysh said, let us go to this man and ask him to forbid his nephew from reviling our gods, for if we feel shame to kill him after he passed away, and drive the Arabs to say, he used to defend him because Abu Talib used to protect Muhammad. But once he passed away, they killed him. Now watch. So Abu Sufyan, Abu Jahl, Nadir ibn al-Harith, Umayya and Ubay, the sons of Khalaf, Uqba ibn Abi Muyyat, Amr ibn al-As, al-Aswad, al-Bukhturi, went to see Abu Talib. Now watch, look, their words. They said to him, you are our master in chief, but Muhammad has harmed us and harmed our idols. We would like you to call him and warn him against speaking ill of our idols. And from our part, we will leave him alone to his Allah. The Prophet went when he was summoned. Abu Talib said to him, these are your people and cousins. The Messenger of Allah asked them, what do they want? Here, they said, we want you to leave us alone with our idols, and we will leave you alone with your Allah. They didn't threaten to kill him. Like, okay, you can worship Allah. We'll leave you alone, dude. Just stop bothering us. Stop telling us we're pagans and idolaters and our gods don't hear. Look what his uncle says. Abu Talib said, your people are being fair. You see it?
Yeah, I see it.
How come Muslims don't show you this? So give your consent. Now watch. The Messenger of Allah said, if I agree to this, would you agree to give me one sentence? If you were utter it, you would rule over the Arabs and non-Arabs alike. Now, did you see his intention from the get-go? He's in Mecca. What does he want?
He wants
Right?
to rule over them.
Oh, wow. But I thought he's a humble prophet and he wasn't for worldly power and gain and the women. It's all about, Allah and making Allah happy. No, he said it right here. He said, if you say this word, you would rule over the Arabs and non-Arabs alike. It shows you his motive from the get-go. So if you don't listen to the lies of Muslims and go to their sources bury this religion.
Mm.
Did I make it up?
It's yeah, no, I see. Correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't there God asked him in the beginning if he wanted to be a king prophet or a slave prophet?
Well, that's not in that order. But they came with what they carrot and stick. They said, look, do you want money? This is the pagans. We'll give you as much as you want. You want virgins? We'll give you women galore. Right?
Mm-hmm.
You can even worship God. Stop attacking our idols. That's all we ask.
Mm-hmm.
Mama said no. And they use that. Muslims say, see, he was saying, no, dude. They're telling you he's the one mocking them, attacking them, ridicule them. They're going out of their way to try to avoid conflict and bloodshed. They're trying to find a peaceful resolution. But Muhammad's point is, no, I want to conquer and rule Arab and non-Arab through this religion of mine.
Mm.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, now let's finish it. And I can give you a lot more in those articles. I showed a lot more. Abu Jahl said, yes, by your father. Okay, tell me, what is it? I want to rule. What do you want me to say so that I can then have the upper hand? Yes, by your father, we will give it to you and also give you 10 other things like it. See, tell us what you want. We're going to give it to you. Okay, go ahead. See, they're going out of their way. But what is it? He said, say there is no God but Allah. But they just said, dude, we want to worship our gods. Leave us alone. Okay, you worship Allah. We'll agree to disagree. Just don't make fun of our gods. But now you're telling us to say there's no God but Allah. Then that means we're following your religion and making you our leader. Because if they submit to him, they make him their prophet. They have to obey him, right?
Yeah.
So understand that in accepting Muhammad as a prophet, you're making him your leader. We don't want to follow you. You can worship your God. Don't attack our gods. Okay? Abu Jahl said, yes, by your father, say there's a God. They refuse and express their aversion at this proposal, upon which Abu Talib said, son of my brother, ask for something else, for your people are weary of this. They're tired of this, man. So when you tell me, how did Islam spread? The Christian sources tell you how it spread. Oh, by the way, this guy found the link for the book. Thank you. Here it is, the link for the book, Sirat Rasulullah, for free. Here. Guys, he just gave you the link. It's right there. So you don't have to buy it. Let me give you the link. Here it is, the PDF file. Right there. You see it? Click on it, save it. That's the book. Save you money.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Christopher P97. There it is, guys. Alfred Guillaume's Life of Muhammad, right there. Let me share it on Facebook as well, because I'm sure people want it. So, point being, if you study the Muslim sources and not let the Muslims tell you, that's what I did. I read their books. I bought their books. In the 90s, 2000, there was no internet where you can find books online for free. That came later. Internet was a new thing, and it was still in its infancy stages. Right? So let me just send it here. This file. Did it go through? Should have went through. All right. So point being, Islam spread through violence. Islam spread through force. And this is a fact even admitted by Muslim scholars like Yasser Qadi. He has even a session saying, look, I don't have this romanticized version of Islam. No, Islam was spread militarily through military expeditions. But with that said, when you ask me, well, why would Muhammad do it? It's like asking me, Why did all these other prophets do what they did, claim what they claimed? Joseph Smith, or, well, because if you believe the Bible that came before Muhammad, the Bible told you, expect this. Here, Jesus Christ our Lord. Look what he said. He told his followers. Here, I'm going to show it to you from the words of our Lord and from those whom he sent out in the power of the Holy Spirit. Here you go. I'm going to show you this, but let's just go through it systematically. Right here. All right, right here. Matthew 24, 23, 25. Then if anyone says to you, behold, here's the Christ. Behold, here's the Christ. Okay. Or there he is. Do not believe him. For false Christs and false prophets will arise and will show great signs and wonders. They'll even do miracles so as to deceive, if possible, even the elect. Behold, I have told you in advance. See, he told us before he left this earth, they're coming. So when they come, why are you shocked? I told you Muhammad would show up. I told you Joseph Smith would show up. I told you these fakes would show up. You see?
Yeah, that actually answers my second question.
Which was?
It's like, how do we know Jesus' message was supposed to be the last to humanity?
Well, because Jesus himself said he came to save the world.
And
And
this right here kind of says like anything after this is
that contradicts his message. Yep.
Mhm.
Now watch here. 2 Corinthians 11, 13, and 15. Who then inspires them and motivates them? Because you're wondering. Sometimes it's their own overactive imagination. You have charlatans, deceivers. They know they're lying. Right? And they're just doing it for money and sex. Now one say, well, Muhammad didn't do. Yes, he did. Have you read Muhammad's life? I'm going to show you. Muhammad, when he was in Mecca, was married to an affluent woman, Khadija bint Khuwaylid. I'm going to give you a little history. This is stuff that the Muslims won't tell you. According to the Sunni tradition, Khadija was 15 years older than him. And she was very wealthy. She had been widowed twice. She was married. Both husbands died. And they left her a fortune. So she was a successful businesswoman, a merchant woman. She actually hired Muhammad. Now, this is according to the Muslim sources, the Sunni sources. All right, now watch what happens here. Khadija falls in love with Muhammad because she hired him. She wanted to marry him. Muhammad married her. According to the Sunni sources, he was 25, she was 40, 15 years older. She was the breadwinner because it was her business that Muhammad was managing. What does that sound like?
Marrying into money.
You got it. See, you laughed. I didn't even have to tell you, right? Sugar mama, right?
Yeah.
All right. Now, what's interesting, as long as she was alive, Muhammad was a good boy and didn't marry anyone else. And supposedly he had all his children from her. Now, that's another question mark. A woman in her 40s, she then gives birth to Muhammad's daughters and sons. And here's another interesting factor. The Muslim sources say that Muhammad had sons who all died as toddlers. They all died young when they were toddlers, 2, 3, 4 years old. Is this man blessed or cursed?
Yeah, that sounds cursed. I mean, if God is supposed to be favoring you.
Right? And now let's take it a step further. Even his daughters who had grown up, only one of them outlived him. The other daughters died before him. This man buried all his children except one, Fatima. Fatima is the woman that this movie is about. You know, the lady from heaven?
Yeah.
That's about her. Because
Okay.
the Shia swear by her and love her. Because Fatima outlived Muhammad. Muhammad died. She died 6 months later. She was married to Ali ibn Abu Talib. And the Shia say Ali was Muhammad's best friend. Even though his first cousin, he was like a brother to him because they were raised in the same home. And he married Fatima. And Muhammad's bloodline is traced to her because she gave him grandchildren, Hassan and Hussein. Now, if you read Islamic history, Hussein was killed by Muslims at Karbala in Iraq. He was killed. They say by the instigation of Yazid ibn Muawiyah. A lot of history I'm giving you, but I'm telling you how bloody and violent Muhammad's own companions were, how they turned against each other and killed each other. All right? buddy, I'm live right now. Stop barking like the whore that gave birth to you. Come and join me before I send the Shia on you. All right, anyway. Now coming back to you. Are you with me there?
Yeah, I'm still with you.
Okay. So Fatima outlived Muhammad by 6 months. Okay, now I'm going to go back to Khadija. Khadija, 40, Muhammad was 25. She owned the business, he ran it. While Khadija was alive, Muhammad remained with her. But then she died. And then Muhammad went buck wild. Because when he went to Medina, Muhammad married 11 women. And when he died, right, he left behind 9 wives. Now, why is that ironic? Because according to chapter 4 of the Quran, Surah An-Nisa, ayah 3, a Muslim man can have only 2, 3, 4 wives, the most, if he can be fair with them. If he can't be fair with them, he can only have 1 wife and unlimited concubines. So why is it Muslim men can have up to 4? Muhammad had more than that. He had 11 at one time.
Yeah, that was one of the things that I questioned because I like to watch a lot of cult documentaries, and it's kind of given that type of cult vibe where it's like, I get to have all the women, but you guys do it as I say, not as I do.
Yep, exactly. So why don't they tell you this aspect about Muhammad?
I guess they what they tell you is that I guess each woman was like an example that you're supposed to
Oh,
follow.
what
Like
example?
they would
The
say
Muslim,
like they would I would hear like each woman was different. So he showed that it's okay to marry a widow, a divorcee, a
really?
single mother.
Yeah, you believe that? Like, because I'm going to show you the Muslim sources said he married them for their beauty. Even Aisha said that.
Mm,
But let me show you the source behind these false prophets. 2 Corinthians 11, 13 and 15. For such men are false apostles, deceitful workers, disguising themselves as apostles of Christ. No wonder, for even Satan disguises himself as an angel of light. You see it?
that's a good verse right there because one of the first videos I was watching of you, my friends were actually the ones that sent me your videos, and then Avery, and you guys were talking about the angel Gabriel and how he was violent with Muhammad.
Yep. That's in Sahih Bukhari, volume 1, number 3. Right? Sahih
Yeah.
Bukhari, volume 1, number 3. But Satan will appear as an angel and convince someone that he or she is God's agent, which is why they live a life of deception, thinking they are truly God's envoys. But then you see Satan then moves them and inspires them in such a way where they live very nasty, self-centered, selfish, sensual lives. That's Muhammad.
Hmm.
Right? So that's how you know. Jesus says, by their fruits you shall know them. So I see Muhammad's fruits and I see not Manasi. For example, my question to you would be, would you be okay? And this is not how we know he's a false prophet. Because Jesus, who came before him, says, this is how you're going to know a false prophet. Here you go, Matthew 7, 15 to 20. Matthew 7, 15 to 20. Beware of the false prophets. Here's how you're going to know them. Beware of the false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing. They look docile, that they're peaceful and loving, but inwardly are ravenous wolves. You will know them by their fruits. You're going to know them by their teaching and the way they live. Are grapes gathered from thorn bushes or figs from thistles? Even so, every good tree bears good fruit, but the bad tree bears bad fruit. A good tree cannot bear bad fruit, nor can a bad tree bear good fruit. Every tree that does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. So then you'll know them by their fruits. So now examine Muhammad's fruits, and they're nasty. Why? What would you say of a man who says that when you go and attack people and subjugate them, and I'm going to show you the Muslim sources here, you go and attack people and subjugate them, okay? That when you take their women captive, even if they're married, you can rape them and then sell them off. Here it is. I'm going to give you the Muslim sources. It's from my article. All right. Chapter 4, verse 24, and I'm going to go to the Muslim website, and you're going to see the hadith with your own eyes. Here it is, 424. Here it is, the fruits of Islam. There you go. Now I'm going to give you a practical situation because this is happening right now. In that film, The Lady from Heaven, it starts with Al-Qaeda or ISIS, I believe, coming into Iraq, which is predominantly Shia, and murdering the Shia. So you're going to see this is happening now. It happened in Iraq, in Syria, Lebanon. It's happening in Nigeria, Boko Haram. It's happening in Afghanistan. This is not theory. They're still doing it till this day. This is the danger of Islam. All right? Now watch. Also forbidden, women that you can't have sex with are women already married. So I can't have sex with your wife, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, unless I take her a captive, because you didn't finish it. Except those captives and slaves whom your right hands possess. Yes, I can. If I'm a jihadi and I attack your place, I take you captive, take your married wife captive. Allah says I can have sex with her. She's my captive, my slave, and then I can sell her. Now, here's the historical background. Okay, here we go. This is Sahih Muslim. Here, so you can see it's online. I click on this. It's going to take you to the online source. Here it is, right here online. And I'll get you the link to my article. Because I linked to the article, the hadith online. What's the chapter heading here?
Is it permissible to have intercourse with a female captive after it is established that she is not pregnant, and if she has a husband, then her marriage is annulled when she is captured?
Oh, so you're okay with this religion? Here,
No.
Muhammad said, it is permissible to have sex with a captive, provided she's not pregnant, even if her husband is alive, because when you take her captive, you've made null and void the marriage.
Mm.
Now, look at this. This is Muhammad. Okay, watch her. Abu Sayyid al-Khudri. Let me pull down full screen so people can see. Abu Sayyid al-Khudri. Look at this. Reported that at the Battle of Hunain, Allah's messenger sent an army to Autas, people that didn't attack the Muslims. Muslims just crept on them unsuspectingly and encountered the enemy and fought with them. Having overcome them and taken them captives, the companions of Allah's messenger seemed to refrain from having intercourse with captive women because of their husbands being polytheists. Their husbands were alive, they're pagan, and how are we going to have sex with them? But what did Allah say? Hey, don't worry about it. Then Allah Most High sent down regarding that. He said, no. Chapter 4, verse 24. Yeah, you can have sex with them, provided they're not pregnant. So are you okay if jihadis came to your neck of the woods, took your wife and your mother if she's married, your daughter, and mounted them, had sex with them, and sold them?
No, I definitely wouldn't be okay with that.
So why would you still be a Muslim? This is your religion, if you're a Muslim. And again, so you don't lie, I give you the link. See, I try to be fair. I give the link so people can go read online. Here, boom. I click on my article, the link here, and voila, there it is. There's a hadith. Am I lying?
No.
The hadith has been reported on authority of Abu Sayyid Khudri through another chain of transmitters. And the words are, they took captives on the day of Autas who had their husbands. They are afraid to have sexual intercourse with them. They don't want to have sex. Man, they're married, dude. I mean, it's kind of awkward. The guy's right there and here's his wife. Can you imagine knowing your wife just got taken by this Muslim and he's going to have sex with her? How would you feel?
I'd see red.
You see why we hate Muhammad?
Yeah.
Do you blame non-Muslims for hating Muhammad?
No.
But the Muslims will play the victim and say we're Islamophobes because Muhammad was a peaceful man. This is peaceful? This is peaceful, huh? Let me get you the link to this article so you can go back and see if I'm lying. Okay, now here it is for you in the private chat. And I'm going to give you a few more. I'm going to show you what Muhammad did to adoption. Okay, adoption. This is supposedly a mercy unto mankind. Adoption. He abolished it. He got rid of adoption. But I want to show you something that comes from one of the Muslim books I have in my library. You can verify it by getting it on Amazon and buying it. This right here, this comes from, I have it right here in my library. Jalal al-Din al-Suyuti, Reasons and Occasions of Revelation of the Holy Quran, Lubab Nuqul fi Asbab al-Nuzul, translated by Dr. Muhammad Mahdi al-Sharif, Dar al-Qutub al-Ilmiya, Beirut. You can actually get it. You can find online, order it. Pages 101, 102, because some of these are not online. About this passage, 424. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Because I want you to see what it says. It's the second one that's going to be troublesome, this one right here. But I'm going to read all of it. It is narrated. Guys, did my link go through? I thought it did. 1 second, because I thought I shared it with you guys. Let me know if it went through. All right. Copy and paste. It was narrated on the authority of Abu Sayyid al-Khudri, same guy that we've been reading about, that he said, we got female captives from Autas who had husbands. It seemed that some of the companions of the Messenger of Allah felt it difficult upon themselves to have sexual relations with them on account of their husbands or from the infidels. Well, maybe, they're infidels. We asked the Messenger of Allah about that. Thereupon Allah revealed, also forbidden for marriage are the married women except whom your right hands possess. By this, they became lawful for us once the term of their idda elapsed, meaning when we could ascertain that they're not pregnant. Because if you have sex with them, she turns out to be pregnant, you don't have DNA testing. You don't know if it's your child or her husband's, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, what a disgusting cult. You know she's a married woman, and you would dare then have sex with a woman who's in love with her husband, whose husband still loves her. This is how you show mercy and compassion to people whose lands you've stolen, who haven't attacked you. But now watch this part. This hurts because it's now referring to Jews and Christians, people of the book. Here it is. It is narrated on the authority of Ibn Abbas that he said, when it was the day of Hunayn, and Allah Almighty helped the Muslims conquer Hunayn, the Muslims got female captives from the people of the scripture, Ahl al-Kitab. So they attacked Jews, they attacked Christians, and they took captive women. Okay, now watch why this is heartbreaking for a Jew and a Christian. If a man liked to have sexual intercourse with any woman, of them whom his right hand possessed, she would say to him, I have a husband. She's even saying to him, look, I'm married. I have a husband. Don't do this. What does Allah say? Because Muhammad is merciful, right? The Messenger of Allah was asked about that. Thereupon Allah revealed the Quranic verse. Tabarani. Doesn't matter. She's your captive. Do what you want. What would you say and how would you feel? What would you say and how would you feel? You got attacked by Boko Haram. Your wife isn't right in front of you. They take her and she goes, I have a husband. So what? You're our captive. The marriage is nullified. How would you feel?
That's definitely wrong.
But this is what Islam has been doing for 14 years. They did it to my ancestors. I'm Assyrian, Christian community who's been around before Islam, predominantly living in Iraq, in Iran, Turkey. When the Muslims came and took over those places, they captured my ancestors, women, mounted them, raped them, enslaved them, and took their lands. And not even that far back. Go online, Google Armenian, Assyrian, Greek genocide. At the turn of World War I, the Ottoman Empire, the Turks, with the help of the Kurds, slaughtered over 1 million Armenians, Assyrians, my ethnicity, Chaldeans were same people, and Greeks. Slaughtered them over 1 million. That's in recent history. You
it says
understand?
1915 to 1916.
Yep. So you understand why we hate Muhammad?
Yeah, I definitely see the arguments.
So it's not, oh, you're Islamophobe. Oh, you want to, no. You guys are the narcissist. You came with the sword, shoved it down our throats. right? So, but how would you feel? I'm going to ask you because it said, Jesus said, you're going to know them by their fruits, right?
Yeah.
Okay, how would you feel if I told you a religion allows you to marry and have sex with minors as young as 6, provided they can handle penetration?
Yeah. That's one of the videos recently I saw that kind of
Right?
like I was like, that's where I started bidding the question, who's a better role model, Muhammad or Jesus? And
Precisely.
Jesus never did any of these things.
Neither did
So,
Paul. Paul was, remember, Jesus, we believe, is God in the flesh, right? Let's go with
mhm.
Paul, who's a human slave of Jesus. Neither did Paul. And if I can show you Paul's teachings with Muhammad's teachings, you're going to be shocked. I'll give you an example about what Paul said about women in contrast to Muhammad. I'll show it to you that. But I'm going to give you the article where the Muslim sources, not me, we quote them. Here it is, 65 verse 4. For all of you, now here it is in private chat for you. Now for the rest of you, okay, right here, I'm going to show you what Muhammad said about women in contrast to Paul. You ready?
Mhm.
Okay, now let's go here. So I can make it easy. I'll get you articles that I wrote on this. And I wrote this in response to a convert to Islam, another vile, wicked Mohammedan named Paul Williams, who I begged to debate. Wouldn't debate. That's all right. That's fine. Because he knows better. He tried to accuse Paul of being a misogynist, and I buried him in it. So I wrote an article, what Paul said about women, and then I contrasted it with Muhammad. Now let's see the contrast. Here it is. This is part 1. Let's see what Paul says, and then contrast it with Muhammad. Okay? Let's see what Paul said, and contrast that with Muhammad. Okay, let's see this. All right, now let's go here. All right, so he misquotes 1 Timothy 2, then I put it in context, but be that as it may, you can read. I want to show you what Paul says about women. All right, let's go here. Right here. Let me go here. I may have to go to the other article. That's fine. But I want to go to Muhammad real quick. Then we'll contrast this. So get that one. Here's part 2. This is part 2. Now, what Muhammad said about women. Here you go. This is for you guys, and I'm going to send in private. I'm going to get you the article on Paul. All right, now let me do this. Guys, bear with me because you got to copy and paste these articles and save them. All right, so let's see. Muhammad, what say you about women? Okay, and then I'm going to show you Paul, right? Chapter 2, verse 228. The divorced shall wait the result until they have had their courses thrice, meaning 3 monthly cycles, nor ought they to conceal what God hath created in their wombs. If they believe in God in the last day, so if you're pregnant, let your husband know that who's about to divorce you. And it will be more just than their husbands to bring them back when in this state they desire what is right. And it is for the woman to act as they act by them. In all fairness, but the men are a step above them. Okay? Men have a degree above women. Keep that in mind. And I'm going to show you Muhammad's interpretation. Chapter 2, verse 282. And get 2 witnesses. When you are engaging in business transaction, you need 2 witnesses. And what must they be? Out of your what?
Men.
Well, what if you can't find 2 men? Now watch the solution. Watch the solution. Ready? And if there are not 2 men available, then a man and 2 women. Why a man and 2 women? So you only need 2 male witnesses. But if you can't find 2 male, you need a man and 2 female witnesses. Why is that? I'm going to show you why. Right? I'm going to show you why. Muhammad, not me. But then when it comes to inheritance, you have children. You have to give the man a double portion of the inheritance that you'd give to a woman. Here, 4:111. Allah commands you as regards your children's inheritance. To the male, a portion equal to that of 2 females. Why? Why? And 4:176. If there are brothers and sisters, the male will have twice the share of the female. Okay, now, let's you say it's me. I'm reading these passages. I'm going to give you Muhammad and his Sahih narrations and Sunni Islam's greatest scholars. Here, Tafsir al-Jalalain on 282. Why does it require 2 female to equal 1 man? Here. The number of women is because of the fact so that if one of the 2 women errs, forgets the testimony, given their lesser astuteness and accuracy. So you have to have 2 women because you need one of the women to remind the other one because they're not as astute or accurate. They're less reliable than a man. Do you really believe that garbage?
No.
But that's what chapter 2, verse 82 of the Quran says right here. Men to women. They're just explaining to you why. So it means you just called the Quran garbage and you don't believe it. Here, 430. Go ahead. Yeah, we're saying.
Would that mean, what if a woman wanted to report a crime that she's been raped? She would need...
No. In Islam, you can't do that. You know why? Based on chapter 24 of the Quran. I'm glad you mentioned that. The only time you can actually accuse someone of, let's say, a sexual act, and let's say adultery. Let's make it easy. This is a fact. Don't take my word for it. In Islam, let's say your wife is having an affair. I'm going to give you a video because you're going to think I'm lying. I'm going to show it to you. I'm going to show you a Muslim scholar saying this. So let's assume, God forbid, your wife committed adultery. You caught her in the act. You couldn't condemn her. You know why?
Why?
Chapter 24 of the Quran says you have to have 4 male witnesses. And according to the Muslim scholars, not only 4 male witnesses, but the 4 male witnesses must see the penis entering her vagina. That's chapter 24 of the Quran. Read it. And I'm going to give you a Muslim scholar. Well, he doesn't call himself a scholar, explaining that. So in Islam, 4 male witnesses must see the male putting his penis and disappearing in her vagina before they can be condemned for adultery. And do you know why Muhammad came up with that rule?
Why?
Because chapter 24 is all about some Muslims accusing Aisha, his bride, of committing adultery. But Muhammad then came up with the revelation, unless 4 men had seen the action, then this is slander, and he ordered them to be flogged. So he came up with this rule. He came up with this rule to save Aisha's reputation. Here you go, right here. You want me to play it now? You want to hear it from the man?
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, this guy right here.
Here.
For someone who what?
Who commits adultery.
Okay.
There needs to be 4 witnesses, but it's wouldn't it not be haram to look at someone committing adultery, and so how could there be 4 witnesses? So does that mean it has to be done in public for there to be a punishment for it?
Okay, adultery can only be proved by the witness of, or by the testimony of 4 male Muslim witnesses being present at the time of adultery. And this has never been recorded in the history of Islam to my knowledge, because no one is going to be, quote unquote, excuse my French, shagging a woman and then all of a sudden having 4 witnesses watching and he's doing his business as usual. This is not heard of and was never founded. And probably this is why Islam conceals such a sin.
You hear it?
To prevent people from slandering. So
Right.
you cannot just accuse a man for being in a room with an unmahram woman. You cannot accuse them of committing adultery because you have to have 4 witnesses seeing the actual act, which is not possible. So if a person was doing it in broad daylight on the street and 4 passerby see this, they're not going to go and wait and like take selfies. They've saw it. It's a single glance of a second or 2. That's sufficient. So there is no sin on them because this was not premeditated. It happened and they saw it. So there's no sin. And the reason for witnessing it is to prove that such a major sin had taken place and they would testify for it. So this is justifiable and Allah Azza wa Jal knows best.
So your wife brings a man to your house. Your wife brings a man to your house, buddy. And he stays overnight. And then you go in the house. You can't accuse him of adultery because you have to have 3 other men with you seeing him on top of your wife and penetrating her. This is Islam.
And they're gonna need 4 men to witness me
I'm
murdering him.
But you get my point?
Yeah.
You see, this is the religion of Islam. Now, let me see if I can find Hamza Yusuf saying the same thing. And who came up with this rule? Muhammad. Why? To protect, right? Protect his wife. Not his wife. Yeah, his wife. He came up with the rule because Aisha was being accused of committing adultery, caused a scandal. So his solution was, did 4 men see it? No. That means you slandered Aisha, you would need to get whipped. So Muhammad conveniently created rules inspired by his Satan to save himself out of his situation, rules that now make people's lives miserable. How can this be from God? I want to see if he has it. I saw Hamza Yusuf somewhere mentioning it, but you got it, right?
Yeah.
So honestly, you walk in and you catch your wife, God forbid, with a man, and there's not 3 other men, you can't accuse her. So what are you going to do with this religion, man? I mean, this is a religion. This is really how practical is it? And notice it said 4 male witnesses, right?
Yeah.
What if it's 4 females? You need 4 more, 8 altogether.
And it didn't happen.
Exactly. So you would need altogether 4 males or 8 females, or if you have 2 males, then you need 4 females with 2 males. I mean, does this religion get any more stupider?
Yeah, it definitely doesn't make sense.
But let me show you what else he says about women. We're not done yet. And then I'm going to compare it with Paul. Here it is from the article. Yeah, this is the religion of Islam. Anyway, so that was chapter 2, verse 288. So why do you need 2 females? Because they're less astute and accurate. Oh, really? Now, what about chapter 4, verse 34? It says men are superior to women, which is why a man can discipline women and beat her. Now, what makes the man superior? Here, Tafsir al-Jalalain. Men are in charge of, they have authority over women, disciplining them and keeping them in check because of that with which Allah, God has preferred the one over the other. That is because God has given them the advantage over women in knowledge, reason, authority, and otherwise. So men are smarter, they're more reasonable. All right, here's another commentary attributed to Ibn Abbas, Muhammad's first cousin. Some say, well, it's not really from him, but still, these are narrations that were attributed to him. Even if it's not from him, it at least tells you what Muslims were thinking. Chapter 2, verse 228. Why does it take 2 women? Because a man has a degree over them in relation to the reasoning faculty. This is now chapter 2, verse 228, not chapter 2, verse 282, where it says 2 witnesses. See, I even get tongue-tied. Chapter 2, verse 228. Why does a man have a degree over a woman? Because a man has a degree over them regarding reasoning, faculty, inheritance, blood money as witnesses in court, and also that which they owe them in terms of expenditure and service. Now, you may not know what this means, blood money. Do you have an idea what that means?
No.
Okay. In Islam, if I kill someone, I'm a Muslim and I kill a Muslim. If it was accidental. Or if I did it deliberately, the family can demand I be killed or accept blood money, payment. Okay? In Islam, the price of killing a male is higher than killing a female. So if I kill a female, I may owe 1,000. If I kill a male, it's probably 5,000. Why is that?
They're saying that males are worth more.
That's what it says here. Here. Why do men have a degree over them? In what way? They have a degree over a woman in reasoning, faculty, inheritance, blood money, and witnesses in court. Because you only need 2 men, whereas with women, you're going to need a man and 2 women, or you're going to need 4 women. Right? Okay, now here. 434, what does he say about here? Men are superior to women and are in charge of them and can beat them if they're rebellious. Men are in charge of women. Why? Because Allah had made the one of them, the man, through reason, superior than women, to excel women. And this tradition, attributed to Ibn Zayd, when Eve sinned, according to the History of Al-Tabari, volume 1, pages 280 to 81. When Eve sinned, Allah said, this is your punishment. Now it is my obligation to make her bleed once every month. Now you're going to have periods. So she made this, as she made this tree bleed. I will also make her stupid, although I had created her intelligent, Halima, and must make her suffer pregnancy and birth with difficulty, although I made it easy for her to be pregnant and give birth. Ibn Zayd said, were it not for the affliction that affected Eve, the woman of this world would not menstruate, and they would be intelligent, and when pregnant, give birth easily. Now, I could talk about Muslim men beating Muslim women, scourge here, but I want to skip that part. That part I'm going to skip. It's right here. You can read it, because I want to show you what Muhammad said. Majority of people in hell are women. Majority of people in hell are, here it is, Sahih Bukhari. Sahih Bukhari. Okay? Sahih. Let me start with the shorter one. Sahih Bukhari, volume 3, book 48, number 826. Let me see if I link to it online, because I gave two, because one of them, yep, right here. This is another Muslim site that I use, searchtruth.com. Here it is. Narrated Abu Sayyid al-Khudri. The Prophet said, isn't the witness of a woman equal to half of that of man? Because it takes two women equal testimony of one man. The woman said, yes. He said, this is because of the deficiency of a woman's mind. And here's a lengthier one. Sahih Bukhari, volume 1, number 301. So according to Muhammad, your wife is stupid. Your mother is stupid. They're not as intelligent as you. Are you okay with that?
No.
But wait, you're a Muslim. Why wouldn't you be? No, but this is your religion.
Yeah.
Right? Hypothetically, you're still a quote unquote, you're on a search, but if you're a Muslim, he just said, listen, man, I'm not insulting your mom, I'm just telling you, your mother is stupid. Your wife is stupid. It takes two of them to equal you. Do you believe your mother is stupid and that she's half your value?
No.
Do you believe that about your wife?
No.
Would you believe that about your daughter if you had a daughter?
No.
But you are going against Muhammad. You just proved you're not a Muslim, because you're saying Muhammad is full of it. Because here again, narrated Abu Sayyid al-Khudri. Once Allah's apostle went out to the Musalla on the Eid al-Adha or al-Fitr, then he passed by the woman and said, "O woman, give alms, as I've seen that the majority of the dwellers of hellfire were you." So the majority of people in hell are who?
Women.
Do you believe that the majority of people in hell will be women like your mother and your wife?
I would hope not.
But he says the majority of people in hell are women. That means there's a greater likelihood for your mother to be in hell than in paradise. If we go with these odds, right?
And that's not a fair and just God if they're not given the equal playing grounds as a man.
No, but you saw Allah said they're stupid. They're not as knowledgeable. They're not reasonable. And they're ingrates. Why? Look, here. I'm not saying, here, right here, black and white. If you don't like it, here it is. The Search Truth Muslim website, Quran teacher. This is the hadith. I can show you on sunnah.com here. But I'm going to show it to you. All the Muslims, because this is Sahih Bukhari. Why? Why, though? Here's the reason. They asked, why is it, oh, Allah's apostle? He replied, you curse frequently. Last time I checked, men curse as much, don't they?
Yeah.
So why is he blaming them for cursing? Now watch. Not only that, you curse frequently and are ungrateful to your husbands. Last time I checked, I've seen more men be ungrateful to their wives and cheat on them, right?
Yeah.
But look what Muhammad is saying. The reason why the majority of people in hell are women, because you curse and you're ungrateful to your husbands. Now watch here. I've not seen anyone more deficient in intelligence, religion than you. So do you actually believe that your wife and your mother are more deficient in intelligence and religion than you? You, the man?
No.
But Muhammad said, then you're not a Muslim. You're no longer a Muslim, buddy. Are you listening to yourself? You're disagreeing with you're disagreeing with the Quran. But wait, a cautious, sensible man could be led astray by some of you. So only women lead men astray. Men have never led women astray. But now watch.
think,
Go ahead. You want to say something? Go ahead.
Yeah, I see a lot of, this is the type of stuff that I knew was lurking in there, that I guess that in the back of my mind, I knew there was more into it if you read into it.
Yep. And I gave you the sources. You got the links. Go back and see where I've lied. I haven't lied. I'm quoting their sources. Now watch this though. They ask him though. Watch her. The woman said, ask Allah, Allah's apostle, what is deficient in our religion, intelligent religion? Now watch, listen to this, man. Listen. He said, is not the evidence of two women equal to the witness of one man? He's getting that from the Quran, isn't he? Right?
Yeah.
Okay, but I'm confused. Who said it takes two women equal the testimony of one man?
Allah
Muhammad
said that. Yeah.
But now he's using the Quran to then justify, see, your women are stupider than men. Why? Because the Quran says so. Yeah, but you're the one who said the words of the Quran, and you're telling us it's from God. So why is God saying we're stupider? He still hasn't explained. He's just saying it takes two of us to equal one man's testimony. Why did he come up with that rule? Oh, because you're stupider. You're not as intelligent. But who said we're stupider? Why? No, there's no explanation given. Now watch why they are less religious. You are deficient intelligence and religion. So he said, is not the evidence of two women equal to the witness of one? They replied in the affirmative. Now, you know why they did? Because they were Muslimah. They believe the Quran. Yeah, you're right. The Quran says it takes two of us to equal one man. He said, this is the deficiency in her intelligence. Now watch this part. Isn't it true that a woman can neither pray nor fast during her menses? The woman replied in affirmative. He said, this is the deficiency in her religion. Did you catch it? He says, you've been forbidden from praying or fasting when you have your menses, right?
Yeah.
He goes, see, that's what makes you less religious than men. So Muhammad is blaming women for something they cannot control. Can a woman control her period?
No.
So she has no choice. Her body was created to have a period because that cleanses her body from the ovaries, right? Pretty much that have died, so that she can stay healthy. And yet here, this is used as a way of punishing them. See, you women, if you didn't have periods, you'd be more religious. Sucks being you, because of your periods, now you're less religious. But then who created them to have periods? Allah did, right?
Yeah.
So Allah created them, right? Allah created them to have periods, and then he punishes them for having periods. How does this work? Oops, sorry, what happened here? All right, but now the one I want to show you, because I'm going to show you now Paul. I'm going to show you Paul, but here's what's sickening here. Narrated Maqal bin Yasir. Look at this. Sunan Abu Dawud. A man came to the Prophet and said, I have found a woman of rank and beauty, but she does not give birth to children. She can't have children. Should I marry her? He said no. He came again to him, but he prohibited him. He came to him third time and he said, marry women who are loving and very prolific, for I shall outnumber the peoples by you. So here's why Muslims are outnumbering us. Because the tradition says, marry fertile women and have many children so you can increase the Muslim population. How is this guy a mercy? The guy is telling him, I met a woman. She's beautiful. She's a pious woman, but she can't have children. Don't marry her. Don't marry her. All right, here it is. Here's a narration. Right here. On a Muslim website, search truth, Quran, Hadith. This is not a Christian site. And this hadith is classified as Sahih by Al-Albani and Arwa Ghalil, number 1784. But I want to give you one more for the sake of time. Then I want to show you Paul. Now here's what's this one I had to show you. This one I got to show you. Narrated Jabir bin Abdullah, when I got married, Allah's apostle said to me, what type of lady have you married? I replied, I've married a matron, meaning a woman, mature. He said, why don't you have a liking for the virgins and for fondling them? This is what a prophet says. Find you a young girl, this one here, Sahih Bukhari, volume 7, number 16. Why didn't you marry a young girl so that you may play with her and she with you? Is this guy a sick pedophile or what?
Yeah,
Only
that's
pedophiles talk like this, right?
mm-hmm.
Do you know of someone who's a sane mind who would say, hey, dude, why don't you find a young girl to marry so you can play with her, she can play with you? I hear that from pedophiles. I don't hear that from sane, mature men. Here, why didn't you marry a young girl so you might play with her and she with you? Does this sound like this man is healthy?
No.
But I want to show you this. Let me go here. I'm going to show you something. Final one, because I want to show you Paul. Okay, compare it now. The Quran says your wife, your mother are the property of the men. Okay? Did you know that?
Yeah.
So you're okay with your mother being called the property of men? Of the
No.
man that married her?
No.
Okay, here's the article. Save all these articles. Click on them before you leave. So save them. Here's the one right here. Boom. And for the rest of you, all right, because I want to show you chapter 2, verse 223, and then I'm going to show you Paul. I have all those narrations in this one, but here, chapter 2, verse 223. Your wives are a tilth unto you. So approach your tilth when or how ye will. Your wives are your field. So women are likened to your field that you plow into. Would your mother like to be told, hey, you're my field, you're my tilth, you're my land, and I can plow into you the way I want?
No.
Would your wife like that?
No.
I want you to do me a favor. Let your wife read these narrations. Say, hey, Muhammad said you're a tilth. Tilth means a field. My field, and I can plow you. Do you like being called that and being called stupid? I want to know what she's going to say. Now, as the reason why that was revealed, quote unquote revealed, I'm not going to read it all. If you go to the Muslim sources, this was revealed because a group of Muslim men, right? Group of Muslim men, you'll see it all here, I quote it right here, wanted to have sex with their wives in different positions. The woman said, we're not used to that. We're used to one position. They went complained to Muhammad, and Muhammad said, hey, it doesn't matter what you women want. You are their field. They can plow into you from the front or behind any way they like. Okay? Now let's compare it with Paul. Remember, Paul is not God. He is the slave of Jesus. And yet, though he's a slave, he makes Muhammad look like filth in comparison to his teachings. Here, look what Paul says. 1 Corinthians 7, verses 1 to 5. Now, concerning the matters about which you wrote, it is well for a man not to touch a woman, but because of the temptation to immorality, each man should have his own wife. Notice, each man own wife, not wives. And each woman her own husband, not husbands. Okay, but now notice how fair, impartial the God of Paul is. Right here. The husband should give to his wife her conjugal rights, and likewise the wife to her husband. For the wife does not rule over her own body, but the husband does. So he owns her body. But now watch. Likewise, the husband does not rule over his own body, but the wife does. Do you get any more fair than that?
No. It's equal partnership right there.
But not here in 223. Your wives are a tilth unto you. You'll never find the Quran saying, and your husbands are your field, your property. Never. But the God of the Bible tells Paul to say, for the wife does not rule over her own body, but the husband does. Likewise, the husband does not rule over his own body, but the wife does. Do not refuse one another, except perhaps by agreement. Now notice, your wife has to agree with you if you want to refrain from sex for a short period of time in order to fast and pray. She has to give you permission. If she says, no, you can't do it. You get it?
Yeah.
You both have to agree, okay, honey, we're not going to have intimacy for 3 days and devote ourselves to prayer. If she says, no, because I'm in the mood, then you can't go ahead and refrain. You got to respect her. So do it by agreement, that you may devote yourselves to prayer, but then come together immediately before the urges become too strong, and then you nullify the purpose of your praying. So lest Satan tempt you through lack of self-control. Now watch this. Colossians 3:19. Husbands, love your wives and do not be harsh with them. That's Paul, and he wasn't even married, man. Ephesians 5:25-33. Notice the example Paul gives. The example he gives for husbands and how they should treat their wives. Husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church. The greatest example of how a husband should be towards his wife is Christ, because the church is Christ's spiritual bride. It's not physical, it's not sexual. And Christ loved the church by serving the church and dying for the church, and he's going to glorify the church. And gave himself up for her that he might sanctify her, having cleansed her by the washing of water with the word, that he might present the church to himself in splendor, without spot or wrinkle or any such thing. He's going to make his bride beautiful, glorious, shining, perfect. That's what Christ aims to do for the church. That's what the husband should do. Make his wife a better woman by loving her, by adoring her, by affirming her, by building her up. Obviously, if the woman's a narcissist and abusive, that's a different story. Then you need to pull away because you can't do anything for her. But it's talking about a situation like you and your wife. She respects you. She doesn't disrespect you. She's not your property. She's not your field. You don't own her. You don't rule her. You are to lead her by being Jesus to her, and then beatifying her, making her all the more lovely, all the more holy, all the more beautiful, because that's what Christ does for his bride. Without spot or wrinkle or any such thing, that she might be holy and without blemish. Even so, husbands should love their wives as their own bodies. Show me that in the Quran. He who loves his wife loves himself. Show me that in the Quran. For no man ever hates his own flesh, but nourishes and cherishes it, as Christ does the church, because we are members of his body. For this reason, a man shall leave his father and mother and be joined to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. You know what that means? Do you understand the meaning of this?
Yeah, that you marry your wife and you start your own family.
But more than that, you love your father and mother. You don't neglect them. You don't set them aside and forget them. If they're in need, you better be their need. But your priority is to your wife. They have priority, but she has priority over them. That doesn't mean you leave them in the street starving. No. If she's a godly woman who loves the Lord, she will want to do everything she can to make sure your parents and her parents are taken care of if they're in need. Because then if you neglect your parents, the Lord will discipline you. But the point is, when it comes to priorities, all things being equal, she's your priority, then your parents, because your mother is your father's priority. This mystery is a profound one. I'm saying that it refers to Christ and the church. However, let each one of you love his wife as himself, and let the wife see that she respects her husband. The final one, and then, brother, if you have one more question, or we can take it, or we can delay it for another time. I don't want to overwhelm you.
No.
3:28. Here it is. This is Paul again. There is neither Jew nor Greek. A Jew is not more loved or more highly esteemed in the sight of God than a Greek. There's neither slave nor free man. God doesn't value free over the slaves. There's no male and female. God doesn't love men more than women. For you are all one in Christ Jesus. Galatians 3:28. And this is Paul, buddy, who wasn't even married. Galatians 3:28. So, brother, if you want, it's up to you, because it's been almost 2 hours. I don't mind, but if you want to take a break and we come back, we can do it another time tomorrow if you have more questions. But my question to you is this. All that we've read from the Quran, women are stupider than men. Takes 2 women equal 1 man. You can take captive women and rape them, even married ones, and sell them. Your women are your field. You can plow into them. You can have sex with minors. And I didn't even talk about adoption. Do you agree with any of that?
No, I don't agree with any of that.
Then you're not a Muslim. You know you're not a Muslim, right?
Yeah.
So you pretty much renounced Muhammad. So what's the next step for you now that you renounced Muhammad?
My next questions are about denominations of Christianity and
All right.
how do
Real
you discern
quickly,
which one to follow?
yeah, real quickly to answer that, but if you want to go more specific, we can do it. You want to go and look to the churches that have been there from the beginning. Because when a church has a pedigree, a historical pedigree that goes back to the apostles, that church has the greater likelihood of being the true church. That doesn't mean other churches that come later, they're false. It means if I see a church that has an historical pedigree that goes back to the apostles, and I can see historically, it can trace itself back to the time of the apostles, that church has been around much longer, which means that church has a lot more understanding, a lot more solid tradition, a lot more development over time than a church that just recently popped up. In other words, if a church just started in your neighborhood last year, do you think that church has greater credibility than another church that's been around for 500 years?
No.
What about a church that's been around for 1,500 years?
That one's probably going to have more knowledge.
What about a church that you can trace historically that goes back to the time of the apostles?
Probably the most knowledge.
So the only options you have are the Orthodox and the Catholic communions, because even the Protestants, you asked them, Protestant Reformation was a movement against the Catholic Church. So they're acknowledging to you the Catholic Church was there because they were protesting against it. The Protestant movement only goes far back as 1500s. But these modern denominations, like non-denominational, they only have a history that's less than, what, 50 years?
Mm-hmm.
So why would I want to go to a church that just recently popped up and ignore a church that has thousands of years of backing and all these great theologians, martyrs, and scholars that they look to and appeal to and learn from?
Yeah.
That's your answer. Now, if you have more specific questions of the Bible, contact me on Skype. We can do something tomorrow, brother.
Yeah, that sounds good.
And
Do
this
some
is
more.
now recorded on Rumble. You can go back and watch it.
Okay. Yeah, I was interested in trying to get my father to watch some of them and
All right.
talk with
You
him about.
discern which ones. You do discern. But here's the link to this one. Right here. Here's the link to this one. It's on Rumble Archive because I'm going to have to be on Rumble until I go back on YouTube, Lord willing, next week. So
Okay.
if you want to talk about Christianity, contact me. We'll do something tomorrow, God willing.
All right. Sounds good.
God bless you, brother.
You too.